I was just given a video to look at. And, when people do that, I'll give you my opinion. And always follow the money to find an idiot. And this is a motivational speaker, another Tony Robbins that thinks he's got the answer. And here's a motivational coach that, all of us need money right now. And this is a guy that's going to teach you how to make money. You haven't really connected the dots that money is evil and stuff was not going to give you happiness, but this guy is going to teach you how to experience love and, do it in a good way, help other people to get more stuff, like, it's total insanity. And he tells a story about how he came up with the answers and, had a near-death experience and describes, he actually uses the word, I was in fear. If you are in fear and you listen to your intuition, any messages you get while you are in a state of fear, you're going to get all the wrong answers. Every evil answer that is in this planet will be obtained to you from fear. And yeah, it will feel real good. Satan kind of is tempting, isn't he? Like, stuff in the short term really feels good. Play that game out over time, and it's only short-term pleasure that will create long-term pain. We kind of woken up that stuff does not make you really happy. We're kind of learning that stuff is not about living life. He talks about relationships and love between people. Now that's living. When you can actually one-on-one have great relationships with people and actually know the truth of what life is all about, that's a good thing. But apparently to him, he thinks that's the wrong thing. The only way you're going to show people love is by showing people how to earn a lot of money so you can buy more stuff so the stuff will make you happy. And then that's where your life is going to have meaning. And the moral of the story is don't ever, ever listen to anything that you get from your intuition if you are in a state of fear. I also look at anybody that's saying life's short, make the best out of it. That's usually a sign where somebody's saying, life is crap, so you may as well enjoy all that you possibly can because you're going to die anyways. And that's the reasoning why we're doing everything wrong, is because life is short. Why is life is short? You're only being killed by your stuff, like the stuff that you get from earning all that money to get all that stuff is usually going to be produced by some slave labor. There's probably some child that is being tortured while they make your stuff. So it's like, yeah, do you feel real good? Does this guy really feel real good that he's actually teaching you how to earn a lot of money so you can buy stuff that was made from a child being tortured to make your stuff? You haven't connected the dots yet. And it's, when you get this aha moment, it comes to you when you're in a state of love. When you really put yourself in that state. I had to do that. When my life was falling apart, that's when I really focused on the intentions that I wanted to feel. I had to pull myself out of those bad feelings and get into the good feelings that I wanted to feel. And then I did that. I meditated. And I've told everybody it's the water concept, but you actually have to use the intention of the water for medicated purposes. It's not you just drink these waters. I use it all the time. I have 6 different bottles, and they all have intentions written on it. And the goal is not necessary. I drink these every friggin' day. I wouldn't live a day without drinking from all of this, because what it does is it keeps me centered. The intentions that are written on that is a suggestion in my mind. Remember, this is where you want to start. This is the root of what it is you want to feel. And then when you feel this, because you actually have to do it. Like this bottle here is confidence and certainty. So, when I'm feeling a little doubtful, what I have to do is, what did it feel like when I was confident and certain about something? What did it feel like? Then I have to actually force my body to feel what it used to feel like when I was confident. And then you end up asking information. There's 6 of them. It's a well-balanced, just having confidence and certain, You can be confident and certain about a wrong thing. So it's not, there is a lot of science, a lot of instruction that you need to know to be able to drink out of this and actually have it effective. But this is what I use to keep myself centered. And it's when you get yourself in that state of being, and and it is a peaceful, loving thing. And then when you ask your intuition, you'll get some good answers. And when I was in that state of being, life is not about being short. Life is about being long. Why is it that you need to brainwash people into believing it's short? Because you're trying to kill everybody. Look at the psychology. Why would you ever want to tell anybody that their life is short? Why wouldn't you tell anybody life is long? Oh, that would be a scary thing, because nobody wants to live in a world full of stuff that makes me happy that doesn't really make me happy, because, short-term pleasure means your pleasure, but then you're going to die because of the long-term pain it'll cause you. Connect the dots there. But if you ended up turning that around to life is long, wouldn't that be a scary thing? Why is it you wouldn't want to live a long life? Why would that be such a terrifying thing to even comprehend? Life is about living for 900 years. That would scare the shit out of you. Face that one out and find out what is the cause of you not wanting to live 900 years. Because, in the Bible, they were living 900 years until they wrote a Bible, which then the Bible put the suggestion out that you're only supposed to live 150 years. Why? Because your lifestyle kills you. And you won't get any of that information if you're coming from a source of fear. You have to get yourself in that centered, loving state of being to be able to find these answers out. And when I did, and I ended up really looking at, is life really short? I ended up finding out doctors one doctor in particular, that has cured every illness known to the human experience. Cured cancer, AIDS, mental illness, addictions, everything based on your lifestyle. So there we go. All illnesses have a cause, and the only way to cure all of those illnesses is by getting rid of the causes. You take the cause out, you cure anything. That's the only concept this guy's selling. He ain't selling any pills. He's saying, look at yourself, look at what you believe, look at the behaviors you got, and then see how that's killing you. Okay, so we're not dying from illness. We die from accidents. But then we know that all accidents can be prevented. We just don't want to prevent those accidents, don't we? And then aging is another thing. I started noticing that I wasn't aging. I'm 51. How old do I look? I know I've aged an awful lot because when I went through this, and, yeah, I am smoking. Why? Because it kills me to see people spreading this message out, and it feels like, how the hell do I get people to wake up? It's more of, I'm lacking the ability to have the communication skills that actually, wakes people up a bit, makes people think, that makes people, oh, maybe this is a completely different reality. Like, I am saying something that goes against what everybody believes in. Do you think that's not going to be, And ultimately, it is deep down, the rooted issue with me and my addiction is having a belief in myself. So I'm even in a process, like, I don't have all of the answers yet, because if I did, frankly, it's when there's more of an outpouring of love, mostly from my family, then I'm sure I would never ever smoke again. I can see that the universe will change. It's just like, can my family change? And that's the tough one. Because there's guys like this out there that are going to influence my kids to get attached to stuff and tear them away from my family. So watching this guy is really, really, really painful, because I see that this guy's motivation is to, in the bigger picture of things, to keep my kids away from me. Because my kids right now are definitely attached to stuff, and money means everything to my kids right now. They've been heavily influenced by the society, and they've lost all connection with love and family, and like sitting down at a Thanksgiving table, and there's none of that anymore. It's all about the stuff. Hell, my kids planned a wedding. first child that gets married plans a wedding that I can't afford to go to? Who does that? You know, like, I would think that if you're going to celebrate, you know, the love of your life, you want the people that you love in your life to be there. But no, it was all about the 5-star, you know, vacation area that nobody could afford to go. And then he's going to have the issue of, nobody loved me enough to go to my wedding, and then live with that story for the rest of his life. But he's doing it to himself. You know, instead of planning it where everybody could afford, instead of communicating with everybody that, you know, hey, we want to be and celebrate this new love you have, you know, instead of planning it in a way where we can all share in this experience and share love between each other, no, it was all about the stuff. That this guy, Brendon, what's his name? Brendon Burchard. Yeah, he's going to teach you how to get more attached to stuff and call it helping people, because life is short. It's short because of the stuff that this guy's trying to sell. He's basically, you know, helping everybody to die a little sooner. But that's a conversation about, is death meant to be long or short? Isn't that the biggest lie? Because as soon as you decide, maybe life is meant to be long, why is that such a hard thing to even have that conversation? Why is it we can't even communicate about whether that's true or not? Why is it we can't even explore the possibility? Because we've seen everybody die, so that must mean everybody must die, because we've seen that game play out all the time. But then, you know, just like we're seeing everything fall apart, aren't we seeing that some of these things that have been going on over and over again aren't exactly true? So couldn't a few of those lies be some of the biggest lies that we've seen repeated over and over and over again, that only brainwashed us to believe that it's true when in fact it's not? Life is not short. It's extremely long. Life is long, like 900 years long. What does it take for you to live life so you enjoy it enough to want to live life 900 years? You deal with that issue, you created a much better life that isn't, you know, an evil sense. You know, the only way you can live 900 years is if you do have the experience of love in your life. If you are happy, truly happy, not with stuff, but, you know, you actually do know what the feeling of happiness is, and not happiness because it's attached to a stuff. Total insanity. Thanks for sharing. Pisses me off. Makes me want to have another cigarette. Thanks for ending my life a little sooner. But it is my own issue. I've got to get a little stronger with that one, because I'm not feeling the love. And that makes me want my life a lot shorter, because I'm not seeing people sort of wake up to what love really means. And it'll never come with stuff. So as soon as I see somebody that's saying, hey, want to make a lot of money? Yeah, I want to be an elite. Yeah, I want to be like a politician. Yeah, I want to control people to do everything that's wrong that ends life. Yeah, because it's short. It drives me fucking insane. It makes me smoke. Obviously, my communication skills suck. Peace out.